Hello, this is Naz from NB Network Lessons. Hope everyone is doing okay. My today's topic is really interesting. It's finding a derivative of a function. As I explained you in my last lecture, derivative is nothing but a slope of a line, slope of a curve, slope of a function. So today we are going to go ahead and find a slope of a given function. All right. So this is the function f of x is equal to 1 minus x squared. Now I'm going to find the derivative of this, which is essentially the slope. But you wouldn't really visualize in reality, in practicality, how that slope is basically, how are you seeing that slope on the curve? And my intention today is to show you that also with a plotted graph for the function. So this is the function we want to solve. F of x is equal to 1 minus x squared. Okay. So there is one rule which I would like to state. If you have function of x is equal to x raised to the power n, if I do f prime of that, okay, then I can bring this n right here as a coefficient times x into n minus 1. All right. So you have to remember this rule. Now what we do is that we move forward and we solve this function right here. We say f of prime of x is equal to, what is the derivative of a constant? 0, because slope of a constant number, there is no slope. It's just constant. It's not changing. So then you have it 0 and then minus, I will apply this formula, this rule right here, bring 2 right here, times x 2 raised to the power minus 1 and raised to the power minus 1. So then I get minus 2 times x, because 2 minus 1 is 1. So essentially then f prime of x is minus 2x. And that is essentially my slope. Okay. Now that's all good. You did that. You said answer is equal to minus 2x, But let me ask you this. Can you visualize this? Can you see it like what is happening? How are we seeing this slope? Let's see how. So here's what I did. I drew the f of x. Okay, I plotted it. As you can see, f of x is equal to 1 minus x squared. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace x by 0. If I replace it by 0, okay, if I replace it by 0, my function becomes 1. If I replace x by 1, my function becomes 0. Let me circle that. Okay, then my function becomes 1. If I replace x by 1, my function becomes 0. If I replace x by 2, my function becomes minus 3. If I replace x by 3, my function becomes minus 8. Okay, because 1 minus 3 times square is 9, so minus 9 plus 1 is 8. If I replace x by minus 1, my function becomes 0. Okay. If I replace it by minus 2, my function becomes minus 3. And lastly, if I replace x by minus 3, my function becomes minus 8. Now let's plot it. This way is going f of x. This is x-axis. I've already drew that in interest of time, as TikTok does not allow more than 10-minute video. And I don't want it to exceed that. So if I plot this, x is equal to 0. Okay, x is equal to 0 right here. What is my function? My function is 1. Boom, right here. When x is equal to 1, right here, what is my function? My function is 0. Boom, right here. When x is equal to 2, right here, what is my function? My function is minus 3. Boom, right here. Okay. When x is equal to 3, right here, my function is minus 8, right here. Similarly, I get on this side also. Now, let's look and see. So we found slope. we said slope is equal to minus 2x for this whole function. What about at a given point? So let's say slope at when x is 0. Slope at when x is 0. So if I do that and I plug in minus 2 times 0 is equal to 0. As you can see, if you draw a slope right here, it's a constant. Okay, so slope at x when x is 0, if you draw a line, straight line right here, that's a constant. So that's why it's 0. Let's look at another one. What if we want to find slope at when x is equal to 1? Okay, I take this, I say minus 2 times 1 is equal to minus 2. So when x is 1 right here, and I draw a tangent line, like this right here, I have this tangent line at 2, like this, it's dipping, right? It's going down, so that the slope is minus 2. So that proves it. Okay, now let's keep on moving. Let's say we find slope at x is equal to 2. So I plug this in, minus 2 times 2 is equal to minus 4. Okay, so then essentially what I'm saying is that at this point x is equal to 2, my slope at this point, if I draw a black line like a tangent, my slope at this point is going to be minus 4. And if you replace these x's by negative, you will get the same thing on this side. So that essentially, my friends, is the definition of slope when you are really looking at the parabola, when you're looking at the graph. I mean, I could have solved this and I said answer is minus 2x, boom, done. But now hopefully you see it also, how the slope is changing with respect to x. So that's all I wanted to talk about in this lecture. Hope you all enjoyed it. I know I enjoy it when I deliver the lecture. But if you like the contents, go ahead and share and give me a like. Thank you.